Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle. The channel's called Kyle by the Creek. If you're new and you don't know what we do around here, most of the time I'm taking old tractors and fixing them up and flipping them, reselling them for profit, and we're gonna work on a tractor and a lawnmower combo in this episode. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what we're working on. All right, this is a pretty nice shaped Toro LX 426. I bought this from a friend for, I think, $250, which I think is a pretty good deal because this is a running unit. It has a bagger and it came with a push mower with a bagger too. So that was a pretty sweet deal, I thought. And I have some footage of me picking this up. It was several months ago. It was back in the fall. So let me show you that footage. I brought along my phone and I captured that, so here it is. Forgot my GoPro, but using the phone here. All right, here's the tractor I was talking about and the mower. So I'm buying these, but it's a pretty good deal. This should be a runner. So I'm hoping to just jump the battery and run this up the trailer. As you can see, it's got a bagger too. Thing looks like it's in pretty nice shape. Let's get a quick look at the engine. So an Intech 20. Pretty nice. Let's get it loaded. All right, let's see if it runs. Nothing. See if we can get it to run. We got the battery pack on it. Well, wanted to run on choke. All right, so as you can see, it took a jump to get it going. It kind of ran rough a little bit, but then it cleared up. So I have good hopes that this will run okay, that we should be able to jump it today, bring it up to the shed, and give it a good service and a cleaning. I don't think we're gonna do any paint on this. It even has a 2013 battery. Okay, that's no good. But I don't think it's gonna take much to get this going. It's got the Briggs Intech 20. As long as the compression release is good, that engine should be fine. And the deck looks amazing. And even the push mower is in really good shape too. So let's get this thing jumped, brought up to my shed where we work on things, and we'll get going on this. All right, before we get started, just a little check-in on the kids over here. This is what we do to keep them occupied outside. Got to keep them away from the screens. So you build a fire and the kids will come out. So yeah, you're right in the smoke, buddy. Come over here. The flames are getting close to your face. There you go. Wow, this fire is going great. Let's throw some more sticks in it. We'll grab the jump pack and we'll get back to that tractor. All right, so I got to climb the hill here. Now, I try to store all my project tractors down below so my yard doesn't look so junky. I mean, like I said, I have kids and there's toys everywhere, but right now up top I just have a covered quad and then a little compactor. So it doesn't look too bad up here. But you gotta walk all the way up the hill, so that's why I'm out of breath. All right, what do we need? Grab our jumper pack. We'll grab our little tire inflator just in case the tires are down. Alright, so we're going down there. See, it's kind of nice to keep everything out of the way, but it is kind of far. Well, all the tires are holding there, so that's amazing. So we'll just give this thing a jump and hopefully we can drive it up the hill. All right, jump pack is on. Step on the big brake. It's one of these where it's like super tall. Well, that ran pretty nice going up the hill. It's a little slow, but I don't think this thing is all that fast. But yeah, here's a little bit better look at it. It's not great light, but there you go. Some scuff marks, but not worth taking that thing off and painting it. Engine looks really clean, no oil leaks. I think it was stored outside, but seems like it fared pretty well. Looks like we might have to figure out something here. It's all disconnected, but looks like it's the correct bagger. Yeah, numbers on it. So I took off the jump pack and then it died, so I think that battery's just totally dead. Like no voltage. Hopefully it's got the charging system working, but all right, let's see if we can figure out the battery situation, and we'll run this a little bit more and then we'll start a service. Back over here is where I store some other stuff. So the lawnmower is over here. There it is. Now I already have a buyer for this. Basically, I have someone who really wants to get a push mower from me, and so yeah, I think this will again start up real nice. This thing's in really good shape too. So it does have not my favorite Briggs engine with the plastic carb, but when they work, they work. Hopefully you don't have to crack into it. They don't like that. Wheels are pretty squeaky. All right, let's get you a look at this thing. So yeah, the deck and everything is in like perfect condition. Really nice bagger with it. Seems like it pulls over. Bail cable works. I think we're going to be in good shape. Maybe we'll work on this first. Alright, got the battery charger on that, and this old battery is actually taking a charge. Doesn't really mean much. Probably won't really work, but for now it's actually doing something. I'm just gonna turn on the key. I think this thing has pretty high hours. Yeah, 845. That's a decent amount. It looks in really good shape for that though. So I guess it was cared for. But yeah, we're charging at 13.5 volts, it said, so we'll keep that on for a little while. It's got oil just a bit low. Well, it does have fuel in it. Should we smell it? It smells okay. Not terrible. And it has a primer bulb. So let's give it a couple primes here, and we'll see if it starts up. It says only 3, right? Yeah. We'll give it a bunch. Alright, people who are used to the channel know that I don't typically get machines to run that early in the episode. So this is amazing. But let's give this thing a test run here. We'll see if it cuts grass okay. I mean, there's nothing to cut. It's too early in March in Connecticut for grass to grow, but we've got the bagger on. We'll see if we pick up some leaves and sticks. Alright, no prime. Let's just see if it starts. Well, this thing ran flawlessly. I bet we picked up a bunch. Oh yeah. pretty good. So we'll just do a service on this thing, and then I'll let the buyer know that it's ready. But I'll just sharpen the blades and change the oil. I'll check on that air filter and spark plug. I'll put some lubrication on these squeaky wheels. I think we're good to go. Last couple drops are coming out. Let's check on this air filter while it's up like this. Oh man, what is this? How did this thing run so great? Look at this air filter. Oh, that's disgusting. Alright, well, I don't think I have any of these, so I'll have to run out to Tractor Supply. Boy, glad we checked that, huh? That's filthy. Actually, this whole side of the engine is pretty grimy. We'll degrease that and blow it off. I'll probably do the trick. The oil's just about drained out, but we might as well give this underside an inspection here. So just some built up grass and stuff, but everything looks really good. Blade looks great. No big chunks out of it, just a little beat up there, but not bad at all. We'll take that off and we'll get it sharpened. So these take a 5/8 socket. Now look at the blade. Really straight. I mean, it looks like a pretty new blade, really. Clean that up a bit and get it sharp. Alright, so I like to sharpen my blades outside of my shed, just so I don't get sparks on the floor of the shed. Always worried about a fire in there, so this is how I do it. I have my eye protection, ear protection. I even have some gloves. And then I'm just going to clamp this down onto my workbench here. And then I have a flapper disc. And I find that works really well for sharpening blades. Alright, that's ready to go. The mower's in the same position still. All the oil's been drained out of it for a while, but we're going to install this here. You can see the grooves that it goes in. Make sure that the blade side is down. Like, think about this being closest to the grass, and the fin closest to the metal of the mowing deck there. You know, you don't want to put this thing upside down like that. Here's the fin close to the grass. You don't want to be cutting with that thing. So a lot of people put these things upside down. Well, a lot of people who don't know what they're doing put them upside down. And people who know what they're doing, they get it right. There we go. Looking good. Sometimes it takes a lot of searching online to find the oil capacity of engines. I finally got this one. I don't know if you can read it. Oil capacity 14 to 16 fluid ounces. You know, you have to get into some really specific diagrams and manuals sometimes. It really should just be on the oil fill. So just say like 15 ounces or something, and then you're done. And if you're like me and you measure things more with quarts than you do ounces, that's about half a quart. So obviously this is already measured out. so I can just dump all of it. And we'll of course give it a check, run it a bit, check it again, make sure we have it right. So the first check, it looks really overfull. So, you know, we'll run that and see if it comes down a little bit. Can always drain some out. It's kind of a pain, but we'll get that done. All right, we should probably look at that spark plug, see if it's looking good. That's something that's easy to replace. Spark plug looks pretty old. I'm gonna go to the store anyway, so I could replace it. Yeah, looks like it's running maybe a little lean, but yeah, look at. So it's just the RC12YC. I might have a new one. Let's check the stash first. So why do we hold on to stuff like this? I don't know, but yeah. So there's a used one. I do have a mixture of some new stuff in here. Usually the new stuff is usually up on top, so these are all like similar condition. Might as well go and get a new one. Maybe I'll buy a couple new ones. Might as well, right? It's the start of spring. Be good to have a good stockpile of new spark plugs. Back from Tractor Supply, we got an air filter here. And directions say to saturate it with oil, so that's what we'll do. So just got a little oil poured into a glass jar, and we'll use the packaging here to just kind of keep it all in there. Some gloves on. That's probably too much. So just wring out the excess, but to have it pretty good and saturated. Install that in a second, and then of course we got a spark plug, so I'll get all this installed once I get myself cleaned up here. That's looking all pretty clean.
I need to wash my hands.
Yeah, your hands are all covered in charcoal playing in that fire.
Oh, this is charcoal?
Well, it's like charcoal, yeah. There we go. That's all installed. Let's get this new Sten's spark plug in there. On the back of the Sten's packaging, it tells you the Champion equivalent spark plug, so I know I have the right one in there. Alright, what more could you ask for? We got an oil change, we got sharpened blades, we have a new air filter, and a new spark plug. Should start right up. Let's make sure, because sometimes after you do a bunch of work to it, things don't like to run for some reason. So let's double check on that, and then we'll get it all cleaned up and ready to go. I'm going to lubricate these wheels before I get it outside. Had a lot of squeaking going on. I think it's just from sitting. See if that's any better. we're in good shape. We'll just double check the oil level and then we'll get it all cleaned up. Pretty easy stuff though. Yeah, it still looks over full. Yeah, well, it's probably my fault in measuring, so let's dump some of that out and we'll check it again. All right, so I just dumped out what felt like a half a quart, but now it's right on the money. It's right on that top dot, which is completely full. It's not over full anymore. So how much oil does this take? I don't know. I really don't know. Felt like a quarter of a quart, but I don't know. I guess just fill it until you get that right. I have no idea. Just gonna hit the underside of this with some degreaser. You know, I'm not gonna go too crazy cleaning this thing up because I already have a buyer for it. So you don't have to bother making it look ultra fancy to try to impress everybody. When you have someone who just wants to buy one of your machines, it's a lot easier. I guess they're already impressed, right? So we'll just get it nice and clean for them. Startup. Make sure everything's good. Perfect. I'm satisfied with that. All right, let's get that off to a new owner. Battery's been charging here. So let's see if it starts up. I do have a new one, so worst case scenario, we'll just throw a new one out. So you saw when I engaged the blades, we had a smoking belt there for a minute. I think one of the pulleys was just a bit seized, but seemed to work itself out just fine. So this is obviously not hooked up correctly. Yeah, I think this is the right. Yeah. Right? Something like this. That seems doesn't really want to fit. Is this bent up? Maybe this is bent. Seems like it's at like the wrong angle. I don't know. Gotta work with that. I mean, we do have a strap hook here, which should probably have something that goes into that. The other side. It seems like that would be pretty close. I don't know. We'll have to mess with that. All right, so this is what I figured out. I just took the whole thing apart, and there's a lot of tape in here. It turns out there's an extension in here, which was really important because, you know, the previous owner was only using about half of it, but that needed to be extended. And this piece actually fits inside here really well. I think what I'll do though is I'll put a little carriage bolt or something, or maybe just a regular bolt and nut, and drill through the plastic there so that stays in place. I don't think you really need anything here. This thing is like, it's almost rock solid as it is. And then I'll tape this all back up with some black Gorilla tape like they had it, because I think, you know, you're gonna need that, unless you could line up that, put a bolt in there. Maybe I'll do that. Might be one on the other side. No, it doesn't look like it. But anyway, I think we're gonna need some tape. I don't know if there's any way to avoid that. Well, that's pretty typical with bagger systems. You know, they're kind of like supposed to be one size fits all. Yeah, this is definitely an MTD. It's meant for this machine, probably purchased with it, but you know, they don't all work great all the time. So, all right, so this thing is starting right up with the old battery. That's pretty impressive, and it charges the battery. Yeah, it's a 2013. It's an 11-year-old battery. That's kind of insane. How is everything working so well on this thing? So I'm gonna figure out that chute thing. I'll get that sorted out first, and then I'll take it all off, and then we'll get the tractor inside there. I'm gonna try to sharpen the blades without taking the deck off, although it'd probably be pretty easy to do it. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I was thinking I'll just hoist up the tractor, take the blades off, sharpen them, but it's kind of dirty. Yeah, maybe I'll just power wash that. We'll see. I'm trying to make this kind of easy because this thing is just coming together quickly here. So see if we can make a quick one for a change, right? All right, I think I got the chute lined up in a good spot. I'm just gonna drill a hole through. There's a pre-existing hole here. It's a square one, but I'm gonna drill through there. As you can see, that's going through the plastic too. And then I just have a bolt and a wing nut, and I think I'll leave the wing nut on top, and that will make installing and uninstalling this a little bit easier. All right, we got the bolt and the wing nut installed, and this thing is solid. Really good. All right, I'm very happy with that. A lot of times those connections aren't great, so I think we got a good one. So let's just mock this back up together. I just want to mow a little bit more with it, make sure nothing's seized under there, and make sure this thing is collecting grass and, you know, well, not much grass, but leaves and stuff, just so we know that that works properly. So I just did some mowing with it, and this extension tube came loose because I didn't have it taped. You know, I'm just trying to do this temporarily, and this moved like that. You know, it pivoted on that, and the blades started to hit it. So, you know, I think if I tape this tube in there, everything's gonna be fine. But I'm gonna put one more hole here, and then a bolt and another wing nut and washer, and that will keep it from doing any moving there. So I don't know if you want to call this less than ideal, but I think it's okay. This is going to be a good move in the end. All right, that's installed. Okay, literally not going anywhere. And it's not too impossible to take that apart too. Got to really reach under there to get that bolt in there, but you know, that's the price you pay for a good bagger system. Yeah, I could definitely give you a ride in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pretty happy with this. I had to add a little tape here just to keep that end from moving, but this thing bags really well. And I just checked the oil. It was kind of low, so I don't want to go much more and use it too much more. So we're going to change the oil now, and we'll do the full service on it. And I don't know if we'll be able to get to a power wash today, but we'll see. This thing will come together in just a minute here. Well, we're running out of room in the shed here, but we're going to try to get this oil filter changed out. You don't have a very good angle. Let's lay down some paper towels. Try to get this. It's got a Sten's oil filter on it. Tightening, loosening. That's a hard angle. It's moving. Slowly and surely. On super tight, of course. Whew. See how much of a mess this is going to make. Yeah, terrible mess. Just checked the thread for metal shavings. We got oil on the rubber O-ring gasket. All right, we'll throw 1.5 quarts in here now, and 1.5 quarts should pretty much be the right amount for most engines that are like single cylinder like this size. So when you get into the V-twins, especially like over 20 horsepower, then it changes a little bit. Alright, we'll give that a check in a second here once it settles. And then of course we'll run it and check it again. It'll likely be high the first time with the oil filter being empty. You know, once you run it and it circulates a little bit, it should be the right level. Alright, just ran it for a minute, and very hard to tell on camera, but we're right up to the highest dot. So all the way full. And I actually have an air filter for this. For some reason I had one on hand. So let's get that installed. Sweet. Alright, I'm going to put that air cover back on, and then this little guy wants to go for a ride on it. We're just a few days later here, and let me show you what the battery's doing. I actually did try to crank over the engine, but yeah, this old 2013 is all done. Although it could be good for some testing, but so I got the new battery. We're gonna put that in right now, and we'll back up the tractor into the shed. I'll hoist it up a bit, and we'll get the blades off this thing. I also want to do a fuel shutoff, so I'll add a shutoff valve because it doesn't have one for the gravity feed system. We'll replace that filter too. And then we're getting close to wanting to power wash this thing, so it's gonna be kind of a crummy next couple of days, so I'm not gonna do anything drastic to clean this thing up because it's just gonna end up sitting outside. But you know, maybe by the weekend, it's Monday now, so maybe by the weekend we'll be trying to dress this thing up and take some photos of it. But for now, let's just do all the service stuff. Kind of an interesting setup there. Pretty rusty looking positive connection, but you can always polish that up a bit. These have the battery tie down. That usually goes missing, so I guess it's kind of nice that it's still here. Some cardboard. I don't really see a reason to keeping that in there. Guess we can reuse some of this stuff. It's kind of an interesting setup, but I think it works. Nah, you know what? That's kind of stripped out. I don't like it. All right, we'll go find some hardware. We'll make that right.
Did you know if you get a lot of leaves and put in something, when you carry that something in it, it might be very heavy.
Yeah, leaves are pretty heavy.
Yeah, even the ants.
Yeah, but ants do a good job of moving leaves, don't they?
Yeah. They actually just grab like three ants, and then you can finally lift it up. I feel like I'm on a field for real.
So I'm gonna get the blades off the lazy way. I'm gonna take the hood off the machine. I'll get my chain hoist down. I like to remove the hood because the chain like scratches along the hood, but if you take the hood off, you can get the chain right on the front axle and lift the whole front end up pretty good. And then I'll get access to the blades. So yeah, I call it the lazy way because I don't want to take the deck off, mainly because I attached it so well over there. I just don't want to deal with that. So we're just starting to get the tractor hoisted up here. Bagger's starting to hit the back wall, but I think that's going to be all I need to get under there. We'll use the impact wrench and get those blades off. Alright, I think we have enough room here. Got a 15/16 socket. There we go. Well, these blades almost look brand new. I mean, you could tell there's some wear, like maybe they used them once. Yeah, they're perfect. No nicks on them. Just looks like the paint is barely coming off. You can even see the old sticker. It's like brand new blades. Luckily the star pattern isn't fighting me, it's going right in. It would be hard to do upside down like this. You know, if you're getting that star pattern wasn't fitting right, it'd be a lot easier if the deck was off, but we got it. It's just the brake. Yep, nice and even. Get a couple clumps of grass off while I'm under here. Looks really good though. Not bad at all. Okay, I want to add a fuel shutoff in here. There's fuel in the line, so I'm going to try to do this real quick. We'll see how well I do. Yeah, not great. And I forgot a hose clamp. Let's see if I can raise it up just above the fuel level there. Tell you what, that gas is not that fresh in that tank. Maybe I should try to drain it out. Alright, we got the gas tank drained. Get this old filter off. All right, it's Saturday, it's April 6th, but it's only 40 degrees out. That is not really a nice day. It's a little too cold to wash this down, but I'm gonna try to get this thing prepped and ready for photos so I can try to list it today. We'll see what happens. I already sold the push mower, so mid-video here, we already got half of this sold off. So I sold it for my asking price to the person who was already set up to buy it, so that went pretty well. Now we just have left to clean this thing up. There's dirt and everything all over it. See, the rims get really dirty when it sits out here and it rains. All the dirt splashes up all over the rims. Luckily everything's pretty dry, so we should be able to clean this up fairly easily, but I do like to polish it too, and I want to walk you through that process and film all of that for you guys. But besides that, we're almost ready to go on this. Well, luckily everything is dry. It poured rain for like 3 or 4 days this week, but since everything's kind of coming off, I think I'm just going to try to do this with just a little broom here. Try to get some of this stuff off. I could try to blow it off too with my air compressor, but it's still pretty early. I don't want to bother my neighbors. A little wet under the mowing deck there. Obviously this is going to have to be wiped down more, but just trying to get the brunt of it off here with the broom. Would have been nice if I kept this thing inside this week, but I had another tractor in the shed that I have listed for sale already, so I want to keep that one nicer. Space is definitely limited around here. As you can see, I need to get the rubber hubcaps on there. Hopefully I have 2 more. Well, it feels like winter still. I got the heater on, got the shed cleaned out, sweeped up, and we got the Toro inside. We're going to start polishing her up. So I think what we're going to start with is trying to get all the tape and dirt off of this. I'll try like a Scotch-Brite pad and some WD-40 and just scrub that, and you know, if I had some like goof off or something like that, that would work, but I'll just go with the WD-40, which is a solvent. Should work fine, and then we'll just wipe everything down here. So let's start getting after it. That looks much better. I think I'll probably run one more stripe of tape across that because the first one came out a little wrinkled, so that will clean that up a bit. But just about to do the hubcaps, and I had these 2 matching ones. They're gray, which, you know, if I had the black ones I'd use the black ones, but it's either this or yellow, so I think this will work better. Just gonna get them a little warmed up here. Get the heat gun, and those should slide right on once they're warm. Yeah, I think gray will look okay. Here's the other side. And the rear wheels just have the bolt, so they don't get a hubcap with these MTDs. Some of them are designed like that. So we just have the front ones to worry about. I'm just about ready to put you guys on time lapse, and I'll clean this whole tractor up and you'll get to see me do that whole process. But I wanted to show you how it is that I do it. It's really simple. I just use WD-40 and shop towels, and I'll bring you in close right here. I'll show you what it looks like to just spray this on the hood and to wipe it off. Makes it pretty shiny. Looks good in pictures. Under these fluorescent lights, the hood looks pretty good as it is, but I just spray it down, get a section of towel, just give it a wipe. I know some people polish it. They'll actually use like a buffing wheel and all that sort of stuff. That looks really good, but I don't know. I'm not keeping these things, I'm selling these things. So I am trying to do things quick and cheap, that's for sure. You know, and how the tractor shines, I don't think is very important beyond just like the pictures and the first appeal. But yeah, as you can see, like that looks fantastic. So in the Facebook photos, that's definitely gonna pop. And then yeah, I know that like dirt is attracted to WD-40. The more you use it, it's just gonna get filthy, especially with the WD-40 on it. But you know, again, I'm trying to shine it up to make it look as good as possible. Basically, when someone buys the machine, that's going to be the prettiest it ever looks. It's just going to be downhill from there. I mean, let's be honest. So that's okay to me, you know, is what it is, but we do want it to look really cleaned up for the photographs. Well, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. This thing looks great. Clean everything up really good. You can see the fuel level now. Top of the engine is super clean. Underneath the engine is nice and dry. You can demonstrate that there's no oil leaks. If it's all grimy, it's hard to prove that. Tank looks pretty clean. Probably would benefit from a power wash, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. It's still too cold. I took it out once and then I had to pack it back up again for winter. You know, one of those days where it warmed up pretty good. I used it, but it's packed up now. Take a look at the plastics on this bagger. Looks brand new. Put a second layer of tape, but it's still all wrinkly, but it's all right. I love having a perfect seat. It always makes it look like the thing was well cared for. There's a lot of bad seats out there, but when you have a good seat, you know, headlights work and all that sort of stuff, those little things, they matter to people as far as like hints as to how well this was cared for. But yeah, at first I was thinking this thing was stored outside. I don't think so. I think my buddy got it outside for me when I picked it up. I think this was a garaged machine. It must have been. I don't think it could be this clean with being outside. So all right, maybe I'll show you how I do my pictures for Facebook Marketplace. Give you a little lesson on that in case anyone's interested in starting to sell these machines for profit. I know a lot of people think that I keep these things. I don't keep them. I sell them. You know, I'm trying to make some money off this. So, you know, a lot of advice comes my way about like what to do for, like, you know, if it were mine. And you know, I have my junky machine. I don't really care about it. These I try to reasonably do up as best as I can, but look, I'm looking to sell these. So all right, let me stage it a little bit better and I'll show you how I go about taking photographs for it. So the first thing I do is find a really good location. I like this location on my yard because you get the grass and then you get this big drop off, then you get the background. And you know, something about the horizon of the grass right here just looks super clean. I try to make sure that things like my lawn furniture aren't in the photograph. I really look around the machine and like get rid of objects that might distract you. Even something like this, like a white leaf sitting there. Even something like this, I might reverse this bag or make sure that's tucked. Just weird things like that that kind of distract your eye. That looks really nice to me. I think this is the best side of the machine too. I take a bunch of photographs, but the first photo is the most important. That's the one that Facebook promotes. Or really, it's the way that the marketplace thing works is it's sort of like AI, but it analyzes the photograph and then groups it with things that look similar to the AI, basically. So if it looks like the profile of a tractor, it'll promote it with other things that look like a tractor. You know, if your first photograph is something like this, you know, a lot of people do that. Well, Facebook has no idea what that is. It just looks red, you know. So a profile like this looks like a tractor, and then you'll get grouped with other tractors. And so I always like a really clean first photo. It looks unmistakably like a lawn tractor, and then Facebook will do a better job of getting that going. But anyway, like I was saying, I think this side is a little worse just because of the scuffed deck. So I could go with this side, but I think my first photograph is going to be here. I think the bagger looks good. I think that's the cleanest side, and it is nice to demonstrate the bagger. That will definitely add in the value of this thing. And then let me show you how I do the photos on my phone. So you can see I already switched around the bag so the tag is on the opposite side. All right, so it's a little cloudy, so luckily you can see my screen. So I take the pictures vertical like this. It definitely looks better to take a photograph like this, but everything on Marketplace is upright like this, so your pictures are going to come out weird if they're oriented the other way. So the other thing you want to do, especially on the first one, is you don't want to do much cropping when you go to edit that photo on Facebook. So this would be a good one. Everything's in view, and you know, when I take a couple of other photos, I'll crop those images so everything's really close. But the first photo, like I said, is the most important, but it also like gets zoomed in already by Facebook, like until you click on it. When you click on it, it looks great. It fills the screen. But if you're just browsing and you're looking at stuff on Marketplace, they zoom in on that. So if you crop your first picture too much, when you're browsing by all the different items, it's going to be zoomed in too much. You're not going to be able to see it too well, you know, as you're scrolling past. You know, when you click on it, it opens up, everything looks great. So anyway, just be really careful about not over editing, especially the first picture. You know, try to get it like without needing to be cropped, you know, just like that would be perfect. And right in the middle. The other thing that you want to do is you definitely want to take a video. So that's something that Marketplace allows now. So you can only have it be a minute long, like 59 seconds long. So I like to hop on the machine, start it up, get it in gear, drive around, engage the blades, disengage the blades, open the hood, listen to it idle. I can get all that done in 59 seconds. And that really helps sell my machines too. So, all right, hopefully that was helpful. You know, Marketplace is definitely an interesting crowd, but the only other bit of advice I would add is, you know, I see a lot of people who sell things and they put in the description, I won't respond to, hi, is this available? I just think that's ridiculous. Like, for a lot of people who are trying to buy a machine, English might not be their first language. That little button, that automatic question that gets sent my way as the seller, I think that's really easy for them. You know, it's a great way to start the conversation. I've sold a lot of machines to people who only speak Spanish, and it works out great. they start the conversation with, "Hi, is this available?" I say, "Yes, it is." The conversation might be Spanglish going forward. That's okay. I know a few words in Spanish and I can get by a bit. And I usually find that it works out really well. Oftentimes, people who don't speak English as their primary language, they buy the item for full price. I'm not trying to take advantage of them. I'm just saying it is difficult to negotiate if you don't speak the language. And I think they do an incredible job of knowing some English, mostly Spanish, and still getting that transaction done. I think that the "Hi, is this available?" is a really helpful tool that Facebook has. I just can't believe that so many people will not respond to people when they ask that question, or really when they press that button that asks that question. So I would just, to anyone who's looking to sell machines online, there's a lot of people who don't speak English, and don't exclude that from your sales. That would just be silly, I think. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. We got to work on 2 machines, that push mower and this Toro tractor. We sold that push mower before the video was even up, so that's pretty exciting. And I think this machine came out great. Curious to know with you guys how much you might list this for. I'm kind of thinking between $800 and $1,000. That's sort of, could I list it for $1,000? Maybe. It's probably not worth that because it does have sort of high hours, but just to remind you, something around 840 hours or something like that, which is kind of high. But still a really nice machine. Starts right up, runs great, operates. So curious to know what you guys would list this for. And of course, as the video's up there, I'll respond to comments and I'll let you know what I sell it for. So, well, anyway, my name is Kyle. The channel's called Kyle by the Creek. Hey, thank you all who subscribe. We passed 2,000 subscribers a little while ago, so enjoying some good growth right now on the channel, looking to keep it going. And we're in spring now, summer's coming, there's gonna be a lot more machines. And I'm a teacher, full-time teacher. In the summers, obviously I'm off, and I work pretty hard at this hobby, so you should be seeing a lot of content coming out then, okay? All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.